Well, the global rights organisation Avaaz worked closely with Syrian activists to coordinate convoys' escape from Homs. We're joined now by Avaaz campaigner and human rights activist Wissam Tarif, and we thank you for joining us. Your organisation has tirelessly documented these Syrian activists' stories since the start of this uprising. You've heard and seen journalist Paul Conroy's story exclusively here on CNN, talking about his fears for Ali Othman. Do you share Paul's concerns?
Oh, of course, I share Paul's concern. This regime has a long history of torturing activists, of executing people without any judicial procedure. So, of course, we consider Ali and other activists are at an extreme danger, and high-profiling these activists right now and mentioning them in media should ring alarms in Damascus, because the worst fear is that they are dealt with by local security branches in Homs, and that means the worst for Ali and others.
Do we know any more about his whereabouts at this point?
We know that he was detained on the outskirts of Homs. We know that he is being treated by the military security branch in Homs itself. That's as far as we know. We don't have further information for now.
All right. The Assad government say they will stop shooting and withdraw from population centres as of April the 10th. How is that being received by those that you are speaking to on the ground?
Well, it's very difficult to, it's very easy to call for dialogue, but it's very difficult to be able to listen when the al-Assad forces and tanks are shelling residential areas in Homs and in other places. The call for dialogue from Mr. Annan and this proposition from the UN that al-Assad regime claims that he's willing to accept has to be demonstrated by actions by the regime. It asks the regime very clearly to pull the army and security forces from residential areas. And so far, that did not happen. They have manipulated the Arab League monitors mission, and we think they will manipulate again or try to manipulate the UN monitoring mission.
For their part, they say, we're going to do our bit, the opposition must do its, i.e., also call a ceasefire. My sense is, at this point, the opposition, the SNC, says they need to see the Syrian government pull back first. Are we getting ourselves into this catch-22 all over again that we seem to have been in for some time now?
I think the sequence of Annan initiative is very clear. The first, they ask for al-Assad regime to pull his forces from the streets. Second, they ask on the opposition also to respect the ceasefire. And the three is to work to provide an environment where dialogue is possible. I think here the problem is not the opposition. The problem remains to be the regime. People took the streets 13 months ago peaceful. They challenged tanks and bullets. Al-Assad regime so far did not offer anything else except violence to his people. And therefore, the problem is not in the opposition. The problem remains to be the regime.
Wissam Tarif is an Avaaz campaigner and human rights activist joining you tonight here on CNN. Sir, we very much appreciate your thoughts.